And environmental groups in Western Australia have reacted with dismay to plans to build a gas processing plant on the pristine Kimberley coast. Indigenous owners, the state and federal governments and Woodside Petroleum signed off on the deal yesterday. The plant is to be built at James Price Point, north of Broome, from where our senior correspondent Brian Thompson reports.
It is a nature lover's paradise, one of the world's last remaining tropical wildernesses. Unlike other tropical regions, its crystal clear waters and coral reefs have never been damaged or polluted by industry. No known species have ever become extinct here, but opponents believe all that will change if the gas processing plant is built.
The Kimberley is, without a doubt, probably one of the most special places on this earth. And the beauty of the Kimberley, that it is still in very good condition, and I'm talking from an environmental and even from a cultural point of view.
Taking the gas to the Pilbara or processing it offshore would satisfy the concerns of the opponents, but Woodside says they are not viable options. If its joint partners agree to siting the plant here at James Price Point, it says it will do everything it can to limit the environmental damage.
We'll use the best technologies, we'll use the best emission engineering that's available. We'll do all the studies. We first have to get through an awful lot of permits and prove to people that we can do this in a safe and environmentally friendly manner.
As well as gas, this area is rich in many different kinds of minerals. Environmentalists fear that the building of the gas processing plant will simply be the first step in the wider industrialisation of the Kimberley.
This is most definitely the thin end of the wedge. We know that there's plans for aluminium smelters, lead smelters. There's also a proposal for bauxite mining on the Mitchell Plateau.
Indigenous businesswoman Kathleen Cox protested at yesterday's signing. She runs an ecotourism business in the Kimberley and is an ardent opponent of the gas project.
I do have a bit of concern for the rippling effect that will come, not just for the big social impact, which I'm quite concerned about. I'm concerned about the Indigenous tourism, I'm concerned about tourism, I'm concerned about a lot of Indigenous issues. But the biggest thing is that I'm concerned what's going to be 20 years from here, and if there's other industry going to start happening in an industrial park, and then there's no way of turning back.
But the federal government has dismissed those concerns. It says industry and tourism can exist side by side.
The Kimberley gas precinct will be developed in an appropriately environmental, sustainable way, whilst also bringing economic development. I'd also say, as Minister for Tourism, it will create new opportunities. Just think about the growth in aviation access, the potential investment in tourism. So from an Australian government point of view, we can deliver both on environmental and economic issues at one.
But many tourists and locals, particularly here in Broome, are not so sure. They fear the influx of workers here will change everything that is special about this remote corner of Australia. In the Kimberley, Brian Thompson, World News Australia.
Now to other stories in the news around Australia.